Listen.
Welcome to Div Tech 101, aka Black Mantle, as I discuss information and technology, also known as IT. So, in this episode today, we're in episode 6, where we're going to be talking about what to expect in your first IT job. Now, as always, I'm going to definitely have an honest conversation with you because guess what? I know that you've been practicing. I hope that you have since you've been listening to these videos and you've made it this far. But however, I'm hoping that you've been practice fixing up old computers and maybe even helping a family member out. And I hope you charge they behind too because they need to be paying you for the work that you've been doing. But even like for small businesses, if you've been helping them out, landing that first particular role there, your IT role, this is going to help you out so much because you're going to get the opportunity to be able to give you what you actually need in order to move forward in this particular space here. Okay. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight as we get our hands on here. Now, let me make sure that I tell you this. Your first job is probably not going to look like what you imagine on paper. You may not even get close to the pay that you're thinking about you're getting, but that's most definitely a good thing because it's going to build character out of you. You're going to really expect and know what to expect in this particular space. Now, sometimes very few people get the opportunity to actually move forward because guess what? They are so lucky. They get the six-figure job coming out without a college degree, without certifications, they get that six-figure job and they're fine. But not all of you are going to be able to make it to that point just yet. If you stick by the protocol and you do very well, you're going to make it very well in this particular space. But it's a good thing that you haven't made it there yet. And I want to make sure to provide you insight because I've been there. I know what it's like to have a wage that just sucks and you're mad because you put in all this work, you're not getting paid enough, and you really want and demand a higher salary, I got you. We're going to get to that point. But here's the thing. The first role that I had in IT wasn't glamorous. I remember being put into a network closet, patching cables. It's kind of dimly lit in there. Couldn't hardly see. But I remember how to punch those cable downs, use the toner to actually tone them out. And I remember white, orange, white, green, blue, green, white, brown, and under the T568B, connecting those in the networking closet, just about almost in the dark. That was very interesting. That was a little bit scary, but guess what? Those days, I spent time resetting passwords for user accounts, which I absolutely hated. Every IT person is going to have to go through it, especially if you're doing this in help desk as well. Another thing that's going to be very upsetting, setting up user accounts and basically, yes, fixing a whole lot of printers. Most IT guys absolutely hate fixing printers. I think printers should be in a whole nother different ballpark by themselves. That's why they have printer technicians. If you work for a company, work for yourself, hire somebody else to do that stuff because printers are a pain in the you know what. But I remember doing all those things and it built character. So now I'm at a point and in a position where I'm able to not necessarily have to do that same thing over again. But at some point, when you first starting into IT, I think it's a good idea that you have to break your hands up and getting the hands on, breaking things apart and figuring out from day one. And when you make it to a point where you're able to move to a different level that you can do less of that particular type of task, if you know what I mean there. Now, after you've done all that, the first thing, or one of the first things that you can definitely look at it well is you're going to ask yourself, this is it or this is IT? Yeah, it's the beginning phase of IT. Because IT, when you normally first hear somebody talking about it, especially who's been in system administration side, resetting passwords for Active Directory, resetting passwords for different platforms, checking printers out, changing toner cartridges, cleaning out dirty, or giving somebody a new keyboard after they done drunk coffee at their desk and spilled coffee on their computer. Yeah, you having to change out like that kind of stuff. Or maybe entitled people, entitled end users is a very, very big thing. And it does definitely get annoying in the desktop support side. But guess what? You will get over it if you keep on following through with some of this stuff. Because I'm giving you real stories. This is it. This is the beginning phase of IT, and those early tasks taught me early on as I began to do this on my own and also work in the business side of it as well, and understanding it from an ownership standpoint and understanding it from an employee standpoint. It is two totally different worlds there, but those definitely laid a foundation that I can actually still use throughout my IT career and field parts today as well. Now, what does all of this mean? What to expect in your first IT job? Well, common entry level roles that you're going to see yourself running into is most people start in roles like help desk technician, which I think if anybody's going into any IT space, regardless, they're going to like development operations or DevOps, development operations, or system administration or network administration or help desk support or whatever. I think everybody needs to start off in help desk to understand how IT works. They need to get their hands there. They need to feel like, because you'll be surprised of the software developers out there that have never broken down a computer. See, they don't have to do that stuff. However, help desk personnel have to help software developers install software on their computer and stuff like that. You kind of can't catch my drift. Help desk people they do everything and never really get paid as much as what the software developers get paid. So let me just give you an example. You can have a new software developer start, and they as sometimes will make more money than the help desk person that's actually, you know, helping the end users with their equipment. They're getting their hands dirty. They're touching the dirty keyboards and mouse. They're dealing with people issues. They're dealing with entitled people all day, every day. They get call on call. Like help desk people don't get the credit that they deserve. And they most definitely deserve more pay. But that's a whole nother different video that I have to do on that because I got a lot of different opinions on that specific endpoint right there alone. But some of them start off in desktop support, field support. They all just have different names, mean the same thing. And those are just very simple roles, but they are kind of get your foot in the door kind of roles that we need to kind of, be aware of and understand. Now, they definitely teach you how technology work because you're going to have people that actually work together in the real world. Help desk personnel work with everybody across the company from the C suite down to the custodial engineers that sweep and keep the place clean. They work with everybody. If something goes wrong, they're coming after you for you to figure it out. And you definitely have to keep that in mind, keep a straight face, and move forward and accordingly with that. Now, one other thing, when you are resetting a password, it might feel small, but the person that locked out on their system, that is a big deal to them. They will feel like that you have absolutely saved the world, like you're Superman or Superwoman in that regard. Or maybe it's you even setting up a new laptop for somebody with the right software that they need on it. That's productivity for that particular employee right there. And that's going to make someone's entire day. A small task to you can make the day of somebody else down the line because that task shows how IT directly impacts the business overall business model itself by getting people back to work as quick as possible, not having to waste a lot of time sitting there jaw jacking and all that other stuff. Now, you will have to talk. The customer service skills are going to have to be there. You're gonna definitely have to make sure that it's like some people honestly just do not want to talk. But in my first IT role, I remember I had to talk to people a lot about computers, even though they probably didn't understand half the stuff I was talking about. I still needed to have a conversation with them to kind of build up my ability to being able to talk to people because being able to explain something in a simple way that a non-technical person can understand and staying calm when someone else is frustrated, these are like mastercraft skills like right here. And that separates good IT professionals from great ones. as well. And hopefully the employers will notice, because sometimes you can be so good at your job that your employer may keep you in the same spot. But as you learn on that job, you're going to run into things that you didn't not under any circumstances know as you have been going through your space. And you begin to figure out that, hey, maybe this is just a normal way of life in this particular space. You have to keep things in mind, have to keep your eyes peeled back and listen to what's going on, because you have to ask questions. You have to watch how senior level people troubleshoot issues. Hopefully, they have documented that. A lot of times, people won't document because they're so afraid of losing their job. They're so afraid that you're going to take over. They're so afraid that nobody's going to need them anymore. I absolutely love to share information. If I fix something a certain way, I'm writing out protocols because it's the way that I think. Even though I started out in the help desk side, being on the cyber side and then on the GRC space, I think more of like an attorney. I think future tense, like, hey, if somebody else ran to do this problem, how will they fix this? How can I structure this documentation to be much more and standards of operating procedures to help somebody navigate and move through? Because I believe when you pass information on to somebody under you who may not know as much, it helps them make them be able to want to learn more and elevate them in their IT career. And so that's a thing that I personally do in my day to day, is making sure that I provide information as best as I can to help the next person who may need to resolve that specific issue there. And hopefully people, hopefully your employer is paying attention to this. If they are not paying attention to your growth and development, they got a real big problem and they deserve to lose that employee. And I hope that employee makes better pay at the next job that they're going through. But learning on the job, not necessarily a requirement, but it is good if you have somebody good that is training you. You're going to run into the things that you didn't know, and that's going to be normal. But most definitely ask questions, excuse me, and make sure that you take notes. You will need those notes as you are going through this, because every problem you solve adds another one, adds another tool to your toolkit. Now, how do you stand out? Well, here's a couple things. If you want to shine on your first role, be absolutely reliable. Be the type of person that your teammates know that they can lean on. You're showing up on time. You're not being late. That includes meetings too. Another thing that is very helpful is taking the initiative. Do not, under any circumstances, wait for somebody to throw you food. Don't wait for somebody to throw you a ticket. Don't wait for somebody to have to tell you what to do each and every single day. That is tiresome. Figure it out. Get out there and self learn. Take the initiative and say, you know what, this particular way of doing things is not right. Let me see if I can reduce the time that it may take to solve this in the future. Let me implement something by myself in order for this to work. Take initiative. That is a very positive thing. And don't forget to document everything that you are doing. And some people don't like it because they're like, well, people can take this away from me. They can reuse documentation, stuff like that. Absolutely. People are going to do whatever it is that they want to do, but it makes you look professional and it keeps you sharp and on your toes all the time, because you want to be able to provide information out there to people. So I really hope that a lot of you are able to do that. Now, managers don't always notice when a new person is hungry to learn. If you have a good manager, they're going to be able to read the room. They're going to be able to read you. They're not going to be a butthole, a hole, trying to silence you or keep you from moving higher than them. You need to light the manager's feet up. You need to be so good at your job that it makes them stop, look, and wonder, why aren't they in a position that I'm in? Let me let that sink in for a second. A lot of you are so scared to tell your manager what you think because you're so afraid that you may lose your job or you may lose respect. Here's the thing, your manager getting paid just like you. They put their clothes on the same way as you. See, I hope that you wasn't thinking that I'm just going to make the information sweet. This is the real world. IT is the real world. Problems happen every day. It's I almost say it's like being a surgeon in the hospital. The IT person is like the surgeon, the main surgeon in the hospital. Everybody needs something fixed, whether it's small or big. They're having to run around from room to room, don't get a lunch break a lot of times because you're so busy working through it, staying on calls, getting called. An IT person goes through so much, however, everybody else gets to go home at 5. When it turns 5 o'clock, everybody's gone. They're not staying there in their office for you. They're not going to stay if you have to hook up a printer. They're not going to do it at all. But guess what? The IT person, they're going to want them there 24/7, 365, even though you're not going to stay up the late. But I'm just saying, catch the drift. You go into IT, you're going to be on call somewhere at some point doing something if you're in the help desk space. Just keep that in mind as you're going through it. But what should you expect in your first IT job? That's what I want you to answer below. Then I want you to turn around and I want you to think about this. Expect to start small in this space because you're going to have to grow. You're going to have to get the necessary experience. Expect to learn a lot. Expect to learn and make sure you get those little wins, big wins, resetting passwords, servicing printers, setting up Wi-Fi networks, and stepping on stones that are probably sometimes much bigger than you can handle. But you know what? You'll be able to get over it because everybody starts right here. And that is something that you have to embrace more and more and faster because you will begin to move up into a different elevation of the space. And so in the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about why working on IT teams is one of the biggest game changers that are out there. So hopefully you'll be able to get some of the insight about your career growth during that point, people. So once again, people like, listen, subscribe to the channel, DevTech 101, aka Black Mantle. Look forward to bringing more content to you soon. Stay sharp, stay secure, subscribe for more tech with purpose only on DevTech 101.